Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a practicing wound care clinician, you already know that managing diabetic neuropathic foot ulcers, DFUs, is basically one of the most grueling parts of your daily practice. You are constantly fighting against time, complications, and heavy patient comorbidities. Well, today, we're going to unpack a brand new, highly critical meta-analysis freshly published in 2025 in Wound Repair and Regeneration. It systematically examines the true effectiveness of standard of care treatments for DFUs, and honestly, it serves as a massive wake-up call for our current clinical protocols.
All right, let's dive straight into this with a number that should immediately grab your attention: 33.15%. I really want you to hold on to this number as we unpack the data today, because this isn't a complication rate, this is actually the pooled standard of care healing rate for DFUs over a typical treatment window. We're going to look closely at exactly how the researchers arrived at this surprisingly low number and what it actually means for the reality you're up against in your clinic every single day.
To get there, we'll quickly cover 5 key areas. First, the reality of DFU care. Second, decoding the meta-analysis data. Third, the healing and infection gap. Fourth, saline gauze versus alginate. And finally, the push for innovation.
Starting right off with Section 1, the reality of DFU care and its limited effectiveness.
The abstract for the study we're analyzing today explicitly calls out the incredibly high stakes involved here. We all know the grim cascade of events that can follow a stalled DFU, right? Severe infection, prolonged hospitalization, and ultimately amputation. But despite the widespread and rigorous implementation of standard of care treatments across the globe, patient outcomes are remaining incredibly stubborn. So this paper aimed to rigorously quantify exactly how limited those standard treatments really are, essentially setting a baseline to prove that what we are doing right now, it's simply not enough to achieve consistent wound healing.
Moving to Section 2, decoding the meta-analysis data, spanning nearly 3 decades.
To really trust these conclusions, we have to understand the immense scope of the data. And the timeline here is fascinating. The researchers didn't just look at a quick snapshot of recent trends. They pulled data starting from randomized controlled trials conducted way back in 1996, all the way up through 2023. So this meta-analysis, culminating in its 2025 publication, represents nearly 3 decades of clinical tracking on standard of care treatments. That means these findings account for generations of protocol adjustments. This is a deeply established, long-term pattern in wound care.
Let's look at the robust methodology behind that timeline. The team synthesized data from 32 distinct randomized controlled trials. Patient sample sizes in these trials ranged from 9 on the smaller end up to 169 patients. Crucially, they evaluated outcomes within a standard 12 to 24-week treatment period. It's also super vital to point out who is behind this data. The study was led by Tyler Coy, alongside a distinguished group of co-authors that includes Lawrence A. Lavery. Now, if you are in the wound care space, you definitely know Dr. Lavery. He's a highly recognized longtime leader whose work has fundamentally shaped our understanding of diabetic wound healing. So, long story short, this data carries immense credibility.
Which brings us to Section 3, the healing and infection gap, where the actual outcomes are revealed.
All right, let's see exactly what nearly 30 years of data reveals about patient outcomes. When you pool all of those patients across all 32 trials, looking at that 12 to 24-week treatment window, only 33.15% of patients achieved complete wound closure. Look at the other side of that chart. That leaves a massive 66.85% of DFU patients unhealed within that time frame. Think about your own patient panel for a second. This data suggests that despite strictly adhering to standard interventions, roughly 2/3 of patients are not achieving closure in that critical 3 to 6 month window. That is a truly massive gap between current standard care and desired patient outcomes.
But the challenge doesn't even stop there. Let's look at the patients who actually do fall into that fortunate 1/3. The data shows that the average healing time for those patients is approximately 50.14 days, with a standard deviation of about 31 days. So even when standard of care treatments work, they require a lengthy, resource-intensive process of nearly 2 months on average. That's 50 days of vulnerability for your patient and 50 days of intensive clinic resources.
And that leads perfectly into the next major finding, the pooled infection proportion. Across these standard of care interventions, the infection proportion was notable at 17.4%. So the point here is that even with rigorous standard clinical oversight and treatment, almost 1 in 5 patients is still facing a notable infection risk. When you combine this with the low healing rates and those long healing times, the immense daily pressure on wound care clinicians becomes glaringly obvious.
Next up is Section 4, saline gauze versus alginate, a very real clinical trade-off.
As practicing clinicians, you are constantly making choices about specific modalities. And when researchers performed a direct comparison between interventions, the results highlighted a very real clinical trade-off. On one hand, the saline gauze group showed marginally better overall healing rates compared to the alginate group. But on the other hand, the alginate dressings demonstrated a reduced infection proportion. This really emphasizes the tricky balancing act you face every single day. Do you optimize purely for the speed of closure, or do you prioritize mitigating that 17.4% infection risk we just talked about? There is no perfect standard tool here, only compromises.
Now, to be totally transparent, any good scientific explainer needs to acknowledge limitations, and the authors here were very upfront. They noted significant variability, or heterogeneity, among the 32 trials. Furthermore, using Egger's test, they detected potential publication bias concerning the healing outcomes. So while their sensitivity analyses did affirm the overall robustness of the findings, the researchers rightly state that this requires a cautious interpretation. We have to view this data as a strong directional indicator rather than absolute gospel. But the direction it's pointing, it's undeniable.
Finally, Section 5, the push for innovation and why we need a paradigm shift. So, if the standard of care is only yielding a 33% healing rate, what comes next? Well, the researchers synthesized this stark data into a clear call for a paradigm shift. They argue that the low success rates point to a pressing need to push the boundaries of DFU care way beyond conventional therapies. Specifically, they highlight the potential of advanced therapies like bioengineered tissue and growth factors. They also point to emerging tech like smart wound monitoring systems. Furthermore, they emphasize the need for truly personalized treatment plans that actually address patient-specific needs rather than relying on a one-size-fits-all standard of care. And fundamentally, they're calling for higher quality, randomized controlled trials in the future to better identify which of these new interventions actually work.
To sum up their position, I want to read this direct quote straight from the paper's abstract. The findings highlight the need for advanced wound care strategies and personalized treatment plans to improve outcomes in diabetic foot ulcers management. This is unequivocally a call to action from Dr. Lavery and his team. The data absolutely proves that relying solely on what we've done for the last 30 years is no longer sufficient for our patients.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider today. Given a 33% healing rate and nearly a 2-month average healing time, is it time to rethink your DFU protocol? This meta-analysis shows us exactly where we stand today, and it strongly suggests that the future of wound care relies on clinicians like you actively seeking out and embracing advanced, personalized innovations. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this data provides some valuable perspective for your practice.